Welcome everybody. Hi, it's Jeff from Medieval Mirage. Thank you for joining me today. As you can see, today is the 18th of May 2025 and I hope all of you are doing well and it's really lovely to have your company. So you're going to be seeing a bit of a tutorial coming up. What we are going to be doing today is showing you how I put these together. Okay, so you'll be seeing that. So we've got a tag. I really like to either put something at the back of my tag that's plain for journal writing or another image. And so that fits in there. So if you're wondering about this kit, the kits that I'm using, I'll have them linked below. So it's a big collection. There's 5 sets in the Fresco Fragments Roman-inspired botanical garden collection. So I won't be able to pinpoint which one's which, but if you take a screenshot, you can always let me know over at Etsy with a screenshot which one particularly grabs you, and I can let you know which kit it's in. And so this one can actually be like this, or it can be over here. So it's just a flip tag. Now I decided with this one to create 3 windows. So there's 1, 2, 3. However, if you're nervous about a window, but you would like to use it as a flip out or for journaling, then where there's that square that's plain, you can always just either stamp over that section, you can write in that section, or you can put some of the images from the kit or any other image in that section. All right, so I've got this, so that I've got this here, and you can turn this into a tuck spot if you wish. So you would only need to glue here and here, and then it allows for a tuck spot. Okay, and then we have this on there. So I wanted to create it so that you've got the the ability to see something else there and there, just for a bit of fun. And in this one here, I'll just show you, there is a kit that is for tall, that you can use these types in tall papers. I just wanted to show you a layout where if you're doing the tall document journals, you can use these ones here as well. And I make these tags so that you can decide what you want to use as something to pull off. You might want to put some string, like put a little hole in there and punch a hole in there and put some string, some ribbon, some lace, make it into more of like a tab and so forth. So that's that. And then over here, sorry, I haven't put this journal together yet. And then over here, this is what flips out. Okay, and right, so with this one here, some of the tags I've left plain so that you can add some of your own images and you can jazz them up anyway. I just have thrown this together. I haven't embellished or gone over the top. I just wanted to keep it simple so that you can get an idea of how these come together and how they look in a journal, especially for those of you that are new at this. And again, this could be made into a tuck spot by just putting your glue along there, and you can easily tuck things in if you wanted to. I've just put it that way. Why not? You know. So, okay. So basically this has got a cello bag on this side, and this has got the acetate on this side. Acetate. So the tutorial will go into it in more depth. If you want to move around the video, I'll have timestamps linked below. Yeah, please enjoy this journey, watch, and I hope it's going to provide help for you and some tips and tricks. Because I do provide a lot of these windows, so this is a different one. I've given you this many. Now the thing is, if you do not want to cut out a window, it doesn't matter. You can cut out whatever image you like from the range that I give you, and you can glue them down. In fact, I do have one. Let's just have a look here. Like, for example, we've got this lady, and she would fit in there. So let me just show you what I mean. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well and having a lovely Sunday. I burnt myself there. Yeah, a bit of a klutz. I was pulling out pizza from the oven and it got me. It got me. So everything's okay though. I got onto it as quickly as possible. So it doesn't hurt anymore. It'll just take a while for it to heal. But yeah, and we'll just grab this one as well. So what does everyone like to do on a Sunday? Do you get to do crafting, I wonder? If you don't want to cut anything out, you don't have to. That can go there just to cover that up. You can ink around the edges and that can go there. Hey everybody, so the tutorial begins. And yep, some of it's going to be silent and some of it's going to be sped up, if not most of it. If you're finding it a little bit too hard to follow along because it's so fast, please go to your the settings. There's a cog on the video, sort of towards the right, and you can slow it down, going minus normal. So hopefully that will help you out if you need to slow some of it down. But at the very beginning of me talking, you would have seen the glue that I was going to be using. That glue, it's an acetone base, and I actually put it into a smaller bottle just for ease of use. And you also saw the double-sided tape that's red that I use for the acetate for the windows. Anyway, I hope this proves helpful to you, and thank you for joining me, and please continue watching. That I've left the overhang, whereas I cut the white border around here. But if you wanted to, because we're going to be putting a tag in and out, if you wanted it reinforced, you could absolutely leave that and do as I'm doing now. But this is optional. Otherwise, you just cut it off and you can just keep following me. And the reason why I don't put anything here is to allow you to decide what you want to do here. So where you want to put your pockets and so forth. And so I'm not going to remove anything yet from there, but I will tidy this one up because this is going to act as a reinforcing thing here. Now, this paper is actually 160 GSM. I wanted to use something a little bit more sturdy, but anything over 100 is pretty good. If it's under 100, then I would recommend that you at least reinforce it by, I don't know, gluing. So rather than printing on the back, why not glue some coffee stain paper or your favorite decorative paper at the back? Because we will most likely see some of this depending on how we put this together. And there is a purpose for this one being on its own as well. Okay, I just wanted to show you, see here, I've gone over the line. The reason why is I don't want to put my head in front of you guys. So that's why I couldn't really see what I was doing. But you want to make sure you're within the line, the boundary line, and you want to do your best to get right onto the angle. So line up your ruler if you can, and then do your slits, because that's going to help you get a nice finish. So this is not going to be the perfect finish, and in fact I'm a bit frustrated that it's not, but what can you do? And this is really just to show you how to get how to do this. But this one here I messed up because I just couldn't put my head in the way, so that I hope explains that for you. But you want to be within the lines. That's the most important thing. So we've done pretty good with the rest. And by the way, the 160 is quite thick. So I must admit I'm having a little bit of a wrestling match with the paper. But once it's down, it's fine. So as I was saying before, 100, 120, 140 grams should be okay. Nice and firm paper. And it's just digital paper. It's nothing like photo paper in this instance, because I didn't feel it was necessary for this particular window pocket. Okay, so there's a number of ways. You saw me do this by hand. The other way you can do it is if you've got a stylus or anything like maybe a credit card that you can run your ruler along. That might be the best one. But another way that you can get a nice thing, if you don't want to do it by hand because you may not maybe have the confidence, you can, as I said before, just use a stylus or a credit card, and you're going to have to kind of make sure you're not right on line, but sort of next to it, and you can run that along there, or you could use a score board. Okay, now when you do this one, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. We'll just do the one side. Okay. Okay. What this means now, you've created a fold line, and it does make it a lot easier to fold it nice and crisp. So, like I was saying, you don't need a scoreboard, you just need a ruler, a stylus, maybe a pen that no longer works and is blunt, like it's got no ink. You could use a pen, but be careful, you don't want it to be too pointy, otherwise you'll cut through the paper. So you just want to have, these two are pretty good, but yeah, that's what you just want to make sure of what you're going to use. Make sure it's not going to be too pointy, and don't press too firmly either. It's not necessary. It just gives you the ability to make a nice, what do we call it, a nice, oops, I think I need to go back a bit, a nice clean fold. Okay, on the side. But if you prefer to do it by hand, go for it. You know, I'm just showing you the options, and I'm trying to use things that you may have. Yeah. And if you feel like something's sticking out, just push it back. You're in control of the paper. Don't let the paper control you. You're the boss. Okay. So you can see how quickly I did this one because the fold lines were already available. Now, if for some reason you can see the yellowy bits, it's okay because I've colored them yellow so that they're not a stark light color. But you can go ahead and ink inside them. So I might end up doing that as well.
These humble men.
So I've got broken scissors, and that's why that duct tape is there. So because they're broken, I use these only when I'm using double-sided tape or anything like packing tape, anything that's really sticky and gunks everything up. And then after a while, it's almost impossible to open up the scissors. And that's when I really give it a good clean. Obviously, you need to be so careful. And we're talking to adult crafters, no children allowed here. So take your time. And I usually use rubbing alcohol with wet wipes, wet ones, or wet wipes. And I give it a good scrub, being very, very careful and cautious. So please be careful. Yeah, okay. And what you just saw me do before, sometimes you want to, before you seal this up, you do want to make sure your windows are nice and clean on this side. They should be easy to clean on that side, but you want to make sure that they're clean before everything gets sealed up. And what I was showing you on baking paper with double-sided tape, you can, once you've done one measurement, you can use these, these pieces as your guide so that you're not having to measure and remeasure. So I've done a few little variations to give you some ideas as to how to go about doing this, because it can become a bit tedious if you've got a few to do. Yeah, and I've gone a little bit way off there, but I'm doing this so quickly. You want to make sure that you've cut your acetate really well, nice and straight. I haven't been able to do that because the show lights or the ring lights in this room are just so bright. I can't even see what I'm doing. It's like I'm working with the invisible, something invisible. So I'm trying not to be too precise and perfect for the sake of this video. Otherwise, it's going to take forever for me to film this. But yeah, so obviously yours is going to be a lot more straighter than mine. But once it's in, it's not going to really matter. We're not going to see it. But yeah, and the reason why I've made these all longish is it helps the tag go in and out a lot more smoother than if you've cut it shorter. Yeah, just giving it a little bit of length, it just gives it a beautiful slide and glide sort of effect. This is where you need to decide what you want, how you want it to look. So for example, in this one here, I have the long one and the short one. And I think that's a really nice idea, is decide. So I like that idea. However, you could have these two back to back. Okay, you could have these two back to back, absolutely, if you wanted to, or these two. And this is where, once you know, then you can cut everything out. So if I'm going to do that, then I only need, I'll possibly cut out the center of this. However, I've got a little thing, a little trick to show you as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this way so that when I open up this, it'll be seen. So, okay, we better now decide what we're doing. So I'm going to, oops, we don't need that anymore. We need these. So these are my good scissors. All right. So I'm just going to do a little snip there and a little snip here because I'm going to cut the centerpiece out. Okay. So we may need to do a little bit of trimming here and there. Okay. So once again, make sure this side is clean. And the reason why I was doing both sides, it was hard to know which side needed the most cleaning, and it was really the outside, but you just never know. Okay, so we want to put, we want to put our glue. So I want to put this like this, our glue on here. So the plan is for this, okay, so this is going to, so this gets glued here and this goes here. This is a very plain journal. I've only thrown it together to give you a platform of how to put things in your journals and so forth. It's only for example purposes. It's nothing special. Okay, so that yes, this is a bit too thick, this stuff here. Okay, so back into this. Now this is optional because basically what you'll be seeing is okay, what you're going to be seeing, if that just sits properly. So what do you think? Leave it plain or have something backing it? I think I'll have something backing it because I think I'd like to just reinforce the page. The paper is quite light, lightweight, so I might just go in here and just trim that off with my ruler. So it's about, roughly about there. Okay. Now, which one do I prefer? This paper? That's pretty. Kind of matches that. So, there's that one, or there's that one. Doesn't really matter, though I do like it plain. Anyway, I could just get the same paper and make it plain, but I'll just, let me see. It's a bit busy, isn't it? So I'll go with this one. Okay. So we're not going to glue the top of this. We're only going to glue this here. So we want this to slide in, so that's probably going to be the best. All right, so I'm just going to put a dot of glue on here, just a dot. Oh dear. It just takes a while for it, just a few moments. It just needs a bit of help. And once it's adhered, it does its job really well. And while I'm waiting, once again, I'll decide on... Oh, you know what? I prefer this because it sort of joins it all up together beautifully. So that's what I'm going to do. Now I want to make sure I've got enough clearance. Yeah, so we want a bit of clearance because we want to be able to, oops, we want it to be able to have this open and close nicely. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to get the glue, and here it goes. I should be able to have some of this underneath. There we go. That's better. I haven't cut that very straight, have I? I'm hopeless at cutting anything straight. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, love that. So this means the tag will go in here. All right, so now I'm going to make another tuck spot. So this here, I want to glue it here and here to make a tuck spot as well if I need it. I think I might end up gluing the whole thing down. So, oh, this is the time where you can put a notch along there. I'm not going to, but that's when you could put a notch down. So, I'm just thinking, having a tuck spot there. Yeah, no, I'll just glue it down, all of it down. Okay. So this is where I'm going to use my, one of these. It's hard to see the blue on blue. And then just for added strength, I'm going to go all the way around. Now, again, this is actually optional. All right, so this is where it gets a little bit scary. I'm going to flip it over like this and just line it up at the bottom of the page. And I have to jut it up to the edge of the page, and maybe even go a little bit over. There we go. All right, there it is. And I forgot to put glue here. All right, so let's just put a little bit of glue along here. Totally forgot, as you do. Okay, so we just want to put it along the edge of the page, just a little run of glue. Okay. Might have put a bit too much at the top. Okay. Okay, great. And now it's just a matter of sticking these down, and I will just tidy this up just a little bit because that's where the paper is sort of folding in on itself. Okay, maybe a little bit on this side. So that's going to go like this. Yeah, I use very thick paper. I should have got something flatter. But anyway, doesn't matter. We will just continue on our merry way. And so I'm going to put a bit of glue down here. Let's just tidy that up again. Alright, so yeah, I cut it a bit too much. That's a bit tricky because we want this to slide, but yeah, I needed it to go over, but that's alright, we won't worry about it now. Anyway, there we have it, everybody. We now have this. Now, the reason why this is sticking up is because I used, silly me, I used 160 GSM rather than, because normally I use 160 GSM when I'm doing a frame that's just going to be stuck in here. But this one, I didn't think, of course, it's going to add bulk. So I would definitely be going for about 100 or 120 grams GSM of paper, paper weight. But it doesn't matter because that's just going to get flattened down in the book and in the journal. So really, no problem. And so it'll just be flipping out like this. And there's going to be that there. So the glue hasn't dried just as yet. Okay. So let's slip her in here and give her a little home. There she is. Hello. And then over here, let's do it this way. And there we go. Fits in nicely. There it is. So it just adds a bit of fun to the whole project. It just adds interest. I love anything interactive. But there we go. They've got a little place there. But anyway, everybody, thank you. And I hope that has been helpful. So everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that was helpful. If you found it helpful, please do like, subscribe, and put your notification bells on, and comment just to let me know if that was helpful. So I do appreciate you all, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Please take care of your lovely selves. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.